This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hi there, hello there. It's Jeff Gonna and welcome you to the Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, April the 1st, in 1993. And yes, this is no April Fool's joke. Kind of like what I talked about when Villanova won the 1985 title and the NHL strike of 1992 and years prior. Alan Kulwicki, the defending NASCAR Series champion, died on his way to a race. So the 1993 Food City 500 was at Bristol Speedway, one of the legendary NASCAR races, on April the 4th. And Alan Kulwicki was going to make his way there to race and all that. Most NASCAR drivers would fly in private planes and all that. So, anyway, they were ready to go. There was a flight out of Macon, Georgia, and the flight would be headed it depart at 8:58 p.m. It departed McGee Tyson Airport near Knoxville on a business flight bound for Tri-Cities Regional Airport in Bluntville, Tennessee. And basically, they were cleared to flight. It looked pretty good and all that. But half an hour after the flight, at 9:28, the pilot reported we are outside the marker, meaning that they're cleared to land by air traffic control. But unfortunately, radio contact between the air traffic controller and the pilot was lost. Following a bad descent, the aircraft impacted the downhill side of the meadow 5 miles northeast of the airport. And the wreckage happened. All 4 people were killed in the crash. And a post-crash fire consumed the cockpit sector in the left wing, obviously meaning that there was no chance of survival and all that. So anyway, the pilot's name was Charlie Campbell. He had a valid FAA certificate and had a lot of flight time and all of that. And the plane was actually listed as doing business for Eastern Foods Incorporated as a Hooters corporate aircraft because Alan Kulwicki raced for Hooters. In the Hooters car, if you will. So anyway, a lot of people said that it was pilot error. So it was just terrible and all that. It was one of the most tragic crashes in history. I mean, Alan Kulwicki was a champion and all that. Well, he died at age 38. You know, he knew what he could do. He was a legend in the sport and all that. I mean, the 1992 season was huge because it's in the final match, in the final races, he needed to do well. I mean, Kulwicki didn't win the race. He took second place, but he had a 10-point lead over Bill Elliott. And he had his second Polish victory lap, which is to race around the track but backwards, in a backwards position. Well, as in backwards. Like the other way. All that. Kulwicki shocked a lot of people. The final 6 races of the season, he was down by a lot of points. He took 5th, 4th, and 2 second places. And he was consistently high with his finishes and all that. It was actually the closest title win in NASCAR history till 2004. And for nearly 2 decades, Kulwicki was the last owner-driver to win the title. He was actually the first Cup champion with a college degree and the first from a northern state, which was Wisconsin. So anyway, it was just amazing what they could do. In 93, you know, he was actually 9th in points after 5 races. Oh, anyway, he had some financial concerns and all that. Anyway, so there was some PR problems and all that, and yeah, they crashed. So yeah, it was just awful and all that. What happened? He was buried in Milwaukee, and many NASCAR luminaries would attend the funeral. All that. It was just awful and all that. Kulwicki had two top five finishes in the first five races of the '93 season. In his career, he would win 5 races and 1 championship, of course. Tommy Kendall and Jimmy Hensley would share in racing Kulwicki's number 7 for the rest of the '93 season. And took part in the International Race of Champions, which was basically stock cars for races for IndyCar racing, NASCAR racing, and even F1. All that. So it was just shocking and all that for Kulwicki. Anyway, Rusty Wallace ended up winning the race at Bristol, the Foods 8500, and would actually do the Polish victory lap. Davey Allison would die somehow July 13th, 1993, so that was 2 deaths of drivers in the same year, which was shocking and all that. Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace would do a side-by-side Polish victory lap carrying flags for Kulwicki and Allison. So, anyway, it was just shocking and all that. What he could do and all that. He even has a grandstand named after him at Bristol Speedway. It was made in 2006. So anyway, it was just amazing what he could do and all that. But yeah, NASCAR went through a little bit of downturn. I mean, IndyCar lost. I think IndyCar lost their driver in '93. I can't remember. But then, 94 became the year that Senna and Ratzenberger died. So it's just like, holy shit, that was just pure unadulterated mistakes and all that. So, yeah. Alan Kulwicki will sadly be missed. Anyway, I'm jumped. I'm going to do.